Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our evening Shabbat class, 23rd of March, 2024. Okay, we'll be talking about picking up where we left off in the book of Micah. We finished reading that. You can go into our YouTube channel, the Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have something like over 900 or so videos that you can look at, review, check them out, get some information out of it. Okay, and our hours of operation are Monday through Thursdays. We come on at 7 and 9 Eastern Central Time. Then Fridays we have our Clubhouse Men's Advanced Bible Study on Clubhouse, which is the room is non-Masonic conversation, and that's also at 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Then we have 2 Shabbat classes on the Sabbath, one in the morning at 10 to 12 a.m. Then we come back and close out the Shabbat, which is where we at right now, from 6 to 7. Okay, so with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel, and by that I mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, Torah being the first 5 books of the Old Testament. It consists of our laws, statutes, our judgments, our culture, our way of life. Okay, so with that being said, I want to say shalom and welcome to this channel. Welcome to our evening Shabbat class, and we're gonna do our normal, which is a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer. We'll read the Psalms. We have current events, little need to know information. Then we open it up for some Q&A, dialogue. Then we'll pick back up where we left off from our morning Shabbat class, which was dealing with Micah, book of Micah. Okay, so this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and Yahweh, our Redeemer, and all that they're doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, excuse me, that we may walk before thee as thy servant David and Solomon, Samuel, and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments, and your testimony, and your statutes with all our heart and soul, and to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, O Lord, hear and do. Hide not thy face from us, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, we'll read the Psalm. Okay. All right. Okay. And I'm going to read Psalm 74. Okay. It's the complaint born of faith. It's a Psalm of Asaph. O God, why hast thou cast us off forever? Why doeth thine anger smoke against the sheep of thy pasture? Remember thy congregation which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed, this Mount Zion wherein thou hast dwelt. Lift up thy feet unto the perpetual desolations, even all that the enemy have done wickedly in thy sanctuary. Thine enemies roar in the midst of thy congregation. They set up their ensigns for signs. A man was famous according to as he had lifted up an axe upon the thick trees. But now they break down the carved works thereof they once with axes and hammers. They have cast fire into a sanctuary. They have defied by casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground. That shall say they shall say in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of God in the land. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that know how long, O God, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? Why withdraw thou thy hand, even thy right hand? Pluck it out of thy bosom. For God is my King of old, working salvation in the midst of the earth. Thou didst divide the sea by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragons in the water. Thou breakest the heads of the Leviathan in pieces, and gavest him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness. Thou didst cleave the fountains and the flood. Thou dried up mighty rivers. The day is thine, and the night also is thine. Thou hast prepared the light and the sun. Thou hast set all the borders of the earth. Thou hast made summer and winter. Remember this, that the enemy have reproached, O Lord, and that the foolish people have blasphemed thy name. O deliver not the soul of thy turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the congregation of thy poor forever. Have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of the habitation of the cruelty. O let not the oppressed return ashamed. Let the poor and the needy praise thy name. Arise, O God, plead thine own case. Remember how the foolish man reproacheth thee daily. Forget not the voice of thine enemies, the tumult of those that rise up against thee increases continuously. So that was Psalm 74. So like I was saying before, I showed you a couple of places where he tells us what it is that we need to do in order to get right with him. And so right here, Asaph, understanding that he's turning that right back on the Lord of hosts. He says, if you look at this is when the Greeks came in and tore the temple down, because he says right here, in verse 8, they said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues in the land, and we see not our signs. Says, and there's no more any prophets, neither is there among us any that know how long. So priests and Levites ain't none there. So we know when they went to Babylon, it was Daniel, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, all kind of prophets around. But right here, he said there ain't no more prophets. That's why he cast them off. So we know that this is during the time of the Greeks when Antiochus came. And then, so like I was saying before, he charged the Most High. A lot of people don't know that you can do that, but he says, thou didst divide the sea, verse 13, by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragons in its waters. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gave him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness. Thou didst cleave the fountains and the flood. Thou drive up mighty rivers. The day is thine, the night is thine. Thou hast prepared the light and the sun. Thou hast set all the borders of the earth, and thou hast made summer and winter. Then here you go, charging the Most High right here. Remember this, that the enemy have reproached, O Lord, and that the foolish people have blasphemed thy name. Oh, deliver not the soul of thy turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the congregation of thy poor. See that? Most High has a serious things that are going on with the poor. So 20, have respect unto the covenant. So we know who's over the covenant. So he reminded him, you got a covenant with us. Have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of the habitation of cruelty. Then 21, oh, let not the oppressed return their shame, and let the poor and the needy praise thy name. So that's how you get the Lord holds attention, because that's what's charged to us, to respect the widow, respect the elders, respect the poor and the needy, respect the oppressed, like we read this morning. Okay, any comments? Okay, everybody good? So with that being said, got some current events.
So it is happening. Gas prices are rising, and we are being told by experts that we should expect about 5 months of gas prices being higher than where they have been. So you need to get ready for that. But why are gas prices rising? And why gas prices are rising, are we seeing other things like flights? Are we seeing train tickets? Are those going up as well? Well, I'm going to discuss that in today's video. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So why are gas prices rising? Well, we're going to discuss that. But first, you need to understand that gas is now topping $3.50 per gallon. And this is one of the reasons why. Oil prices have been going up. But why are oil prices going up? Well, there's multiple reasons. Number one, we obviously have this issue with Russian oil. We have an issue with OPEC Plus as well. They have actually cut oil production over several months. And so that's part of the issue as well. But now we're seeing demand increase. And this is something that many are expecting is going to continue for the next 5 months. Because what we have seen recently is we have seen over the past couple of years is certain households have not traveled because of COVID, because of finances. Well, many households that didn't travel because of those reasons are now seeing a potential chance to get out there on the open road and go see new sights and be a tourist for a little bit. Now, that's one reason why we are seeing an increase in oil prices or gas prices at this time, is demand is going up. I want to show you the gas prices. This is from AAA. Okay, look at this. It says today, as of March 23rd, 2024, gas prices are $3.53 per gallon. That's the national average here in the United States. Well, you can see over here on the West Coast, it is the most expensive. Okay, least expensive down in the South. I just want to show you this. Look at the current average, $3.53. Yesterday, $3.53. A week ago, $3.45. A month ago, $3.26. And a year ago, $3.43. That's actually pretty big. We have gone up 10 cents in 1 year, but we've actually gone up almost 30 cents in 1 month. That is a big, big deal. Now, the one good thing, though, is diesel prices, these aren't going up that much. Okay, I want to show you that as well. Okay, diesel's over here. Today, it's $4.06. Yesterday, $4.06. A week ago, $4.03. A month ago, $4.09. But a year ago, $4.27. Now, that's big. The reason why that's big is because this is how we get food. We get food delivered by diesel trucks, not by your average, car taking regular fuel. It's usually by diesel. And so that means food prices hopefully are going to stay pretty flat. But there's another concern, okay? And it actually has to do with airlines. One of the things that we are seeing, and this is why gas prices are, according to experts, they anticipate gas prices are going to surge for the next 5 months, is because of airlines. Airlines lately have been trying to make a little more profit. In order to make and become a little more profitable, they've been closing down certain routes. They've been adjusting their flights. So maybe they don't like a flight from Seattle to Las Vegas. Maybe it doesn't go to Las Vegas 8 times a day. Maybe it goes twice. Maybe instead of 5 times, maybe it only goes 2 times, 3 times. Well, when you cut down on those flights, so instead of me getting from Seattle down to Las Vegas, and I have 5 different times to choose from, if I only have 2, guess what happens to all those other flights? All those people are trying to get onto those 2 flights. That pushes airline tickets up. As prices for airline tickets go up, many people are going to start to consider, is it better just to fly or should we just drive? Now, we have done many trips and have friends, and a lot of times if it's a big group, they'll rent a van and they'll drive from Seattle to Las Vegas because in the end it's a little bit cheaper. But for me, I fly. Get a rental car, everything's good, right? Here's the thing. If you are deciding to drive and now another vehicle's on the road, okay, and now you're not flying, guess what? There's more demand for that fuel. Prices are going to go up. That is what many experts are anticipating this year because we're seeing an increase in travel. Even though some people are really struggling financially, they're traveling because this might be the last year they're able to do that before things get really bad.
Okay. Anybody see any signs of that in their neighborhood? Gas going up?
Shalom, everyone. Yes, sir. Here in Louisiana, I think it's like 318 for regular gas, which is the lowest. And what he just said at the end was like, this is going to probably, maybe the last year where people is really going to be traveling like that before things get really, worse. So that caught my attention, what he said towards the end there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Shalom.
Okay.
Yeah, shalom. The gas here in North Carolina is at 321 is the lowest, and then as high as 349. And I'm kind of curious about him when he said about the gasoline for the airplanes. They use a different kind um, of gasoline. They use that AVGAS gas. So it's a different kind of gas, but yet, though I know it's gas, but it's a different kind that we use for our cars.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He said that the diesel and the airplane gas is going to go up because of that fact. So that's going to bring the prices up on everything else because it's going to cost them more. Okay. Here go another one.
Ladies and gentlemen, I found this article really interesting. Texas is issuing a warning ahead of the eclipse. Now, some people are on full alert. They are scared about this eclipse because, it does the X marks the spot across the US. And there are a lot of people that are concerned. They know a switch is happening. They know change is in the air. There's no doubt about it. So Texas official issues a warning. He's telling people to stock up on food and also stock up on gas. Fill your car tank up. And this is ahead of the upcoming solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024. Texas official is recommending that residents Stock up on food and gas in advance of the total solar eclipse set to occur in a few weeks. On April 8th, the moon will be positioned in such a way that the entire disk of the sun will be blocked out in several US states. It's going to be most of the country. That's why it's called the Great American Eclipse. So it's going to be more than several states. But the X is going to run across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Now it's going to begin in Mexico, and then it's going to go across the states, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. So even if you're in between those states, you should still see it. And it should still get dark when it hits totality. And so no matter where you are, especially if you're in the lower 48, the spectacle is expected to draw crowds from around the nation as people flock to area.
Okay.
The ultimate combo from Optima.
Totality to witness the eclipse. In Texas, several counties have already issued a disaster declaration in advance of the event, and other counties are taking steps to prepare. Now, they said if you are looking for a hotel room in the country around that time, you're going to be out of luck. Many of the hotels have been booked a year in advance. So I hope nobody is planning on going anywhere around the 8th, because you will have a painful time trying to find a hotel room. So Mike Jones, Hayes County Director of Office of Emergency Services, suggests that residents stock up on essentials in days leading up to the event, according to Austin TV, KXAN. Jones also told Newsweek, I recommend visiting stores and gas stations in advance simply to reduce traffic flow the day of the event and manage individual expectations that will have a few more visitors in our county than normal. I always encourage people to keep your fuel tanks filled, and they said it's just a standard practice. So I think they're doing this because they're anticipating big crowds of people to be out and about. Hayes County webpage dedicated to the eclipse said the county is anticipating many thousands of visitors to arrive for the event. Millions of people will be traveling into a roughly 100-mile wide paths across the continent where they can see maximum coverage of the sun by the moon. Travis County, Kendall County, and Bell County officials have issued disaster declarations in advance of the eclipse. Effective March 8th, 2024, Travis County Judge Andy Brown issued a declaration of local disaster in anticipation of the extremely large crowds, increased traffic, enormous strains on first responders, hospitals, and roads on the way leading up to, on, and after the day of the coming total solar eclipse.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody got any comments? Look like they're taking it serious.
Yes, sir. Shalom. The last eclipse, it wasn't that dark. We had got one of those things to take a look at the sky, but this time they're saying it's going to be a darkness. I mean, we can really see the actual, dark. I mean, being night really turning to, I mean, day really turning to night. So yes, that's a lot. And I've heard that banks and everything's going to turn around. That's when they're going to drop the bomb on the banks having digital, and it's just a lot of rumors going around as far as
Right.
April the 8th.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah. So for the longest, I have been checking out how, especially the last year or so, how this big mass influx of migrants. I mean, why all of a sudden this started happening? All these years, and then all of a sudden it started happening. While I was listening to a video probably a couple of months ago, a month or so ago, and then it dawned on me. So what I'm gonna do is play it, and we'll talk about. Like I said, it's nothing new under the sun. These people do the same thing over and over again. Like the guy said that we ain't caught it yet. We ain't stood up against it. So they continue to do the same thing over and over again on us. The reason why we in predicament we in. So let's check it out. It's got to do with the Rothschilds. If you know who that is.
The headquarters of the Great Conspiracy in the late 1700s was in Frankfurt, Germany, where the House of Rothschild had been established by Mayer Anschelm, who adopted the Rothschild name and linked together other international financiers who had literally sold their souls to the devil. After the Bavarian government's exposure in 1786, the conspirators moved their headquarters to Switzerland, then to London. Since World War II, after Jacob Schiff, the Rothschilds' boy in America, died, the headquarters of the American branch has been in the Harold Pratt Building, New York, and the Rockefellers, originally protégés of Schiff, have taken over the manipulation of finances in America for the Illuminati. In the final phases of the conspiracy, the one world government will consist of the king dictator, head of the United Nations, the CFR, and a few billionaires, economists, and scientists who have proved their devotion to the great conspiracy. All others are to be integrated into a vast conglomeration of mongrelized humanity, actually slaves. Now let me show you how our federal government and the American people have been sucked into the one world takeover plot of the Illuminati Great Conspiracy. And always bear in mind that the United Nations was created to become the housing for that one world so-called liberal conspiracy. The real foundations of the plot for the takeover of the United States were laid during the period of our Civil War. Not that Weishaupt and the earlier masterminds had ever overlooked the New World. As I have previously indicated, Weishaupt had his agents planted over here as far back as the Revolutionary War. But George Washington was more than a match for them. It was during the Civil War that the conspirators launched their first concrete efforts. We know that Judah Benjamin, chief advisor of Jefferson Davis, was a Rothschild agent. We also know that there were Rothschild agents planted in Abraham Lincoln's cabinet who tried to sell him into a financial dealing with the House of Rothschild. But old Abe saw through the scheme and bluntly rejected it, thereby incurring the undying enmity of the Rothschilds, exactly as the Russian Tsar did when he torpedoed their first League of Nations at the Congress in Vienna. Investigation of the assassination of Lincoln revealed that the assassin, Booth, was a member of a secret conspiratorial group. Because there were a number of highly important government officials involved, the name of the group was never revealed, and it became a mystery, exactly as the assassination of Jack Kennedy still is a mystery. But I am sure it will not for long remain a mystery. Anyway, the ending of the Civil War destroyed temporarily all chances of the House of Rothschild to get a clutch on our money system, such as they had acquired in Britain and other nations in Europe. I say temporarily because the Rothschilds and the masterminds of the conspiracy never quit. So they had to start from scratch, but they lost no time in getting started. Shortly after the Civil War, a young immigrant who called himself Jacob H. Schiff arrived in New York. Jacob was a young man with a mission for the House of Rothschild. Jacob was the son of a rabbi, born in one of Rothschild's houses in Frankfurt, Germany. I won't go deeply into his background. The important point is that Rothschild recognized in him not only a potential money wizard, but more important, he also saw the latent Machiavellian qualities in Jacob that could, as it did, make him an invaluable functionary in the great one world conspiracy. After a comparatively brief training period in the Rothschilds' London bank, Jacob left for America with instructions to buy into a banking house, which was to be the springboard to acquire control of the money system of the United States. Actually, Jacob came here to carry out 4 specific assignments. Number 1, and most important, was to acquire control of America's money system. Number 2, find desirable men who, for a price, would be willing to serve as stooges for the great conspiracy and promote them into high places in our federal government, our Congress, in the U.S. Supreme Court, and all federal agencies. Number 3, create minority group strife throughout the nation, particularly between whites and blacks. Number 4, create a movement to destroy religion in the United States, but Christianity to be the chief target. Earlier, I stated that Jacob Schiff came to America with orders by Rothschild to carry out 4 specific directives. The first and most important one was to get control of the United States money system. Let's trace Schiff's step to accomplish that directive. As a first step, he had to buy into a banking house, but it had to be the kind of a house that he could absolutely control and mold for that primary objective of entrapping our U.S. money system. After carefully scouting around, Jacob bought a partnership in a firm that called itself Kuhn and Loeb. Like Schiff, Kuhn and Loeb were immigrants from German Jewish ghettos. They came to the United States in the mid-1840s. Both started their business careers as itinerant pack peddlers. In the early 1850s, they pooled their interests and set up a merchandising store in Lafayette, Indiana, under the firm name of Kuhn and Loeb, servicing the covered wagon settlers on their way west. In the years that followed, they set up similar stores in Cincinnati and St. Louis. Then they added pawnbroking to their merchandising pursuits. From that to money lending was a short and quick step. By the time Schiff arrived on the scene, Kuhn and Loeb was a well-known private banking firm, and this is the firm Jacob bought into. Shortly after he became a partner in Kuhn and Loeb, Schiff married Loeb's daughter, Teresa. Then he bought out Kuhn's interests and moved the firm to New York, and Kuhn and Loeb became Kuhn, Loeb and Company, international bankers with Jacob Schiff, agent of the Rothschilds, ostensibly the sole owner. And throughout his career, this blend of Judas and Machiavelli, the first hierarch of the Illuminati, great conspiracy in America, posed as a generous philanthropist and a man of great holiness, the cover-up policy set forth by the Illuminati. As I have stated, the first great step of the conspiracy was to be the entrapment of our money system. To achieve that objective, Schiff had to get full cooperation of the then big banker elements in America, and that was easier said than done. Even in those years, Wall Street was the heart of the American money mart, and J.P. Morgan was its dictator. Next in line were the Drexels and the Biddles in Philadelphia. All the other financiers, big and little, danced to the music of those three houses, but particularly to that of Morgan. All of those three were proud, haughty, arrogant potentates. For the first few years, they viewed the little bewhiskered man from the German ghettos with utter contempt. But Jacob knew how to overcome that. He threw a few Rothschild bones to them, said bones being distribution in America of desirable European stock and bond issues. Then he discovered he had a still more potent weapon in his hands in the following. It was in the decades following our Civil War that our industries began to burgeon. We had great railroads to build. The oil, mining, steel, textile industries were bursting out of their swaddling clothes.
Okay, we're going somewhere.
All that called for vast financing. Much of that financing had to come from abroad. That meant the House of Rothschild. And that was when Schiff came into his own. He played a very crafty game. He became the patron saint of John D. Rockefeller, Edward R. Harriman, and Andrew Carnegie. He financed the Standard Oil Company for Rocky, the railroad empire for Harriman, and the steel empire for Carnegie. But instead of hogging all the other industries for Kuhn-Loeb and Company, he opened the doors of the House of Rothschild to Morgan, Biddle, and Drexel. In turn, Rothschild arranged the setting up of London, Paris, European, and other branches for those three, but always in partnerships with Rothschild subordinates. And Rothschild made it very clear to all those men that Schiff was to be the boss in New York. Thus, at the turn of the century, Schiff had a tight control of the entire banking fraternity on Wall Street, which by then, with Schiff's help, included Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, and other internationalist banks, headed by men chosen by the Rothschilds. In short, that meant control of the nation's money powers, and he was then ready for the giant step, the entrapment of our national money system. Now, under our Constitution, all control of our money system is vested solely in our Congress.
You heard that? He said our money system is invested into the Congress. Keep in mind what you see going on today. But check this out.
Schiff's next important step was to seduce our Congress to betray that constitutional edict by surrendering that control to the hierarchy of the Illuminati's great conspiracy. In order to legalize that surrender and thus make the people powerless to resist it, it would be necessary to have Congress enact special legislation. To accomplish that, Schiff would have to infiltrate stooges into both houses of Congress, stooges powerful enough to railroad Congress into passing such legislation. Equally, or even more important, he would have to plant a stooge in the White House,
President.
a president without integrity and without scruples, who would sign that legislation into law. To accomplish that, he had to get control of either the Republican or the Democratic Party.
So it's only one way to do that. Votes. Votes, right? Check this out.
The Democratic Party was the more vulnerable. It was the hungrier of the two parties. Except for Grover Cleveland, the Democrats had been unable to land one of their men in the White House since before the Civil War. There were two reasons for that. Number one, poverty of the party. Number two, there were considerably more Republican-minded voters than Democrats.
Voters.
The poverty matter was not a great problem, but the voter problem was a different story. But as I previously said, Schiff was a smart cookie. Here is the atrocious and murderous method
Here you go.
he employed to solve that voter problem. His solution emphasizes how very little the Jewish internationalist bankers care about their own racial brethren, as you shall see. Suddenly, around 1890, there broke out a nationwide series of pogroms in Russia.
Wars.
Many thousands of innocent Jews, men, women, and children, were slaughtered by the Cossacks and other peasants.
Okay.
Similar pogroms with similar slaughter of innocent Jews broke out in Poland, Romania, and Bulgaria. All those pogroms were fomented by Rothschild agents.
Set up.
As a result, Jewish terrified refugees from all those nations swarmed into the United States.
Flooded in the United States.
And that continued throughout the next 2 or 3 decades because the pogroms were continuous through all those years. All those refugees were aided by self-styled humanitarian committees
helping them,
set up
like
by
they're doing right now.
The Rothschilds and all the Rothschild affiliates. In the main, the refugees streamed into New York, but the ship Rothschild humanitarian committees found ways to shuffle many of them into other large cities, such as Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, Detroit, Los Angeles, etc. All of them were quickly transformed into naturalized citizens and educated to register as Democrats. Thus, all of that so-called minority group became solid Democratic voter blocs in their communities, all controlled and maneuvered by their so-called benefactors. And shortly after the turn of the century, they became vital factors in the political life of our nation. That was one of the methods Schiff employed to plant men like Nelson Aldrich in our Senate and Woodrow Wilson in the White House.
Okay, there you go. Nothing new under the sun. Same thing they're doing now. Paying for them, getting. That's why they're getting all these benefits and all that. They're setting them up. And we acting as if it's the first time it happened. They did it before. Get voters for whatever they got going on. Okay, so that was just a part of a video I was watching. The name of it is the Rothschilds, the New World Order and the Rothschilds. So you want to check it out. Okay, any comments on that, or anybody got anything you want to say about it? Okay, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about this morning, last night, during the week? Anything they want to bring out? If they want to talk about, got a question?
No, sir, not at this time.
Okay, we're gonna go
Shalom,
back.
everyone.
Okay.
Brother Leonard, I just wanted to bring up a video that I watched today, and I don't know if anybody else have seen this video where there's this young man from Venezuela, right, that is telling the immigrants how to go by living for free, shall I say, in a home that's not theirs, which are called squatters, right? So he was telling them how to go by moving in these homes because, the court process is very lengthy when it comes to that. So once they've been in there for 30 days or so and they have receipts saying that they've been doing repairs and all this other stuff, you just can't go and remove them. I think Florida has passed a bill where the police can remove squatters, but most states have a squatter law. So it's this video that's going around where he's explaining to, them in their language on how to go by obtaining these homes. And I just think that is just so crazy. I mean, you're not paying taxes. You're over here illegal. You're not a citizen, but then you can move into a home that's not even yours.
Exactly. Somebody informing them.
Right.
Like we just saw. Somebody informing them. Like the guy was saying, the brother was saying earlier on the video I played on, I think it was this morning, how they it's the reason these people flooding over here. So behind the scenes, they made promises to them, they're gonna get them perks. And they flood, they already know what's gonna happen when they get here. And that's why this big old uptick. But like I said before, we seen what they was trying to do back in the day, and they accomplished it. They started wars in all these different places, and then they sent all the migrants. In particular, the reason why we are today, Jews. They sent them over here. And today, that's who controlling the Senate, which is that the Senate controls America. So it ain't nothing new. So they back there at it again, doing the same thing. They do the same thing with our black leaders, boule leaders. They'll bring one when we get to a certain point with them, but we don't want to tolerate them no more. They bring some slick talking Negro on the scene, like they did with Obama and King. And like I said, we ain't figured it out yet, so they're gonna keep on doing it, steady working, so they're gonna continue to do it. Yeah, so like I said, somebody had to tell them how to all of a sudden you just like I said, floated across the Rio Grande. Now you over here and you are pro at our law system. Come on. So somebody informed you to do that. It's crazy.
Yes,
And
sir.
then, like I said before, it's a slap in the face because of, like I was saying earlier about the American dream. The American dream is to get a home. You get a home, then you can mortgage. You can get in a bind. You can mortgage your house, or remortgage it and get money. Now here come these people over here directly where they going. They're going straight to the American dream and getting houses. Somebody told them how to get them. Come on, that's high ups. Who told them that?
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Yeah.
And they're using all social media to do it. TikTok has it, YouTube. They're using that social media to tell to communicate with each other how to make these um, moves, like
Right.
Sister Michelle said.
Right. And like I said before, come on, that don't make no sense because you just think about somebody, all the hell they have to go through trying to get over here, but you get over here and you just where your mind is. Your mind, you are already up here. You are somebody already tipped you off on how to break the system, how to buck it. You go straight to the source, straight to the source. Come on, man, crazy. Oh yeah, but like I said before, we see right here from just this video here. This ain't nothing new. These people, they this is what they did before. I'm quite sure it wasn't the first time they did it. You know, they did doing transatlantic slave trade. Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, like I said, I was gonna read a couple of chapters out of Michael, pick up where we had left off this morning. I think we read Micah 1 and 2. Yeah, so we'll pick up right there. Somebody gonna read Micah 3, and I'll read Micah 4.
Shalom. Yes, sir. Micah chapter 3, judgment on unjust leaders. And I said, Hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment? Who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off of them, and their flesh from off their bones, who also eat the flesh of my people, and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces, and for the pot, and as flesh within the cauldron. For then shall they cry unto the Lord, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. Thus said the Lord concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry, Peace, and he that plucketh not into their mouths. They even prepare war against him. Therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine. And the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. 7. Then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners confounded. Yea, they shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer of God. But truly, I am fully upowered by the Spirit of the Lord, and of judgment, and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgressions, and to Israel his. Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all inequity. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountains of the house as the high places of the forest. Micah chapter 3.
Okay, yeah. So I had this morning I was showing how this who the suffering servant was, and I went to Numbers chapter 18 and it told you that the priests, the Levites, the seers, prophets, they the ones is the suffering servant. They the one responsible for keeping Israel on point, keeping them and dealing with sin and all that. So we see right here in this chapter, this is shine a light on that. It says in verse 3, who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones, chop them in pieces, as for the pot, and as flesh is within the cauldron. Then shall they cry unto the Lord, right? But he shall not hear them, right? He will even hide his face from them at that time, and they have, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doing. So here we go, right here, 5. Thus said the Lord concerning the prophets. See that? You go to suffering servant right here. Thus concerning the Lord, concerning the prophets that make my people to err. So see, they wicked as hell, right? So that bite with their teeth and cry peace, and he that putteth not into their mouths, and they even prepare war against him. Well, therefore, night shall be, here you go, night shall be unto you, the prophets, night, that ye shall not have a vision. That's what we just read. I think it was this morning. It said the prophets have no vision. So we know when this is. This is when Antiochus came, because we saw Daniel, we saw Ezekiel, Jeremiah. We had prophets all over the place during the time of leading up to the Babylonian captivity and after. So it only puts us in. It wasn't in Egypt, so this puts us in during the time when the Greeks came and Antiochus came and ran us out. This is when the prophets have no more visions. So he says, "Thus says the Lord, concerning the prophets that make my people to err, that bite with their teeth and cry peace, and be that and he that putteth not into their mouths, they even prepare war against them. Therefore night." So he took away, their anointing on them. Therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine, and that the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. So that means he cut them off, right? Then 7, then shall the seers, they part of it too, be ashamed, because they can't rightly divide nothing. And the diviners confounded, yea, they shall all cover their lips. So what he tell us? The wisdom of the Lord is on the lips of the prophets. It's on the lips of the seers. He says, then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners confounded, yea, and they shall cover their lips. For there is no answer of God. But truly I am full of the power by the Spirit of the Lord, and of judgment and might, to declare unto Jacob his transgressions, and to Israel his sins. Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment. He brought them into himself to perform judgment, but they hate judgment. See that? And pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof are judged for reward. right here today. The heads thereof judge for reward, the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil is coming to us. So they're not dealing with the Lord. He gone. Like I said with JC. All that you say JC done, but he ain't there. He gone. The Lord gone. Who was he dealing with? He ain't dealing with the creator. He ain't dealing with heaven. Because he gone. Just like right here. He gone. He leaves me in line. He gone. He said his darkness over them. So everything they're doing is self-endowed. Just like today. Okay? In comments. That's chapter 3 for Mike. Everybody good? Okay. I'll read chapter 4. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth out of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their plowshares, their swords in the plowshares, and their spears in the pruning hooks. Nations shall not lift up a sword against nations, neither shall they learn war anymore. But they shall set every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. For the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken it. For all the people will walk, everyone in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever. In that day, said the Lord, okay, I will assemble her that halted, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted, and I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast afar off a strong nation, and the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. And thou, tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion, that's David, right? The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Zion of Jerusalem. Now, why do thou cry aloud? Is there no king in thee? Is there no counsel? Is thy counselor perish? For pains have taken thee as a woman in travail. So what is that talking about? Isaiah 66. Let's look at it. Let's line this up. So Isaiah 66. Look at it right quick. He says, is there not a king in you? David. Yeah, David there, he buried there. Okay, let's look at it. Triple. Okay. Isaiah 66. And it says in verse 5, hear the word of the Lord. Isaiah 66 and 5. Hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, for he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. A voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of the Lord that renders recompense to his enemy before she travail. Here you go, right here. Before she travail, this is Israel, the land where all our forefathers buried. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pains came, she was delivered of a man child, that's David. David buried in Jerusalem. So 8, who have heard such a thing? Who have seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Shall a nation be born at once? As soon as Zion travaileth, she brought forth her children. So soon as Zion, so Zion is the woman. You go back to where I was at in verse 8 of Micah chapter 4. And thou, tower of the flock, stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion. That's Daniel. It says, before she travailed, she brought forth a man child. There it is. The first dominion, David is the first dominion. First dominion, the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Zion. Then here you go. He asked the question that takes you back to Isaiah 66. Now, why do thou cry aloud? Is there no king in thee? Yeah, David there, buried in you. Says, is thy counselor perished? He the counselor. The counselor ain't perished. The Lord holds the counselor. For pains I've taken hold of thee as a woman in travail. That takes you to Isaiah 66. Then he says, be in pains, be in labor, and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. Thou shalt, there thou shalt be delivered. There the lion the Lord shall redeem thee from the land, from the hand of thine enemies. Now, also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, let her be defiled, and let her eyes look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of the Lord, neither understand neither understand they his counsel. For he shall gather them as the heavens, he shall gather them as sheaves into the floor. Arise and thrust, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron as David, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gains unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. So that's the army right here, 13. Arise and thrust, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people. That's the army that I was reading this morning in Ezekiel 37, and then Joel shine a light on it, Joel chapter 2. Says, I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Okay, in comments. Everybody good on that?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna read chapter 5. So this is deliverers, right? From Bethlehem. See that? Not a deliverer from Bethlehem, deliverers with an S on it from Bethlehem. Now gather thyself in truth. See, go to army right here. This is the deliverers from Bethlehem. Gather thyself in troops, O daughters of troops. He have laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel upon the rod, they shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheeks. But thou, O Bethlehem Euphrates, though thou be little, I was reading this, we was talking about this earlier last night, when Mike was reading, and he said, see that? But thou, Bethlehem, so he said Ephraim, but I had said Euphrates. He go Euphrates. That's why I said that. You have to understand this right here. But thou, O Bethlehem Euphrates, right? Not Bethlehem. That's New Testament garbage. But he says, but thou, O Bethlehem Euphrates, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from old, from everlasting. That's David. That's a plug from everlasting. It's the ruler in Israel who's going forth from old, David. So 3, therefore will I give them up until the time that she which travaileth have brought forth. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return unto the children of Israel, and he shall stand and feed David. He shall stand and feed in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord is God, and they shall abide, for now shall be great unto the ends of the earth. His name shall be great unto the ends of the earth. Say, and this man, David, shall be the peace when the Assyrians shall come into our land, and when he shall tread on our palaces, then shall we arise against him 7 shepherds, 8 principal men, and they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword in the land of Nimrod in the interest thereof. Thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian when he cometh into our land and when he treadeth within our borders. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as though dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles, in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the field, and as a young lion, they go to young lion, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who, if he goeth through, both tread it down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. Thy hand shall be lifted up upon thy adversaries, and all thy enemies shall be cut off. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots, and I will cut off the cities of the land, and throw down all the strongholds, and I will cut off the witchcraft out of thy hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. The graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the works of thy hand, to JC. And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so will I destroy thy cities, and I will execute vengeance in anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. Okay, so that was chapter 5. Anybody got any comments or questions? So, like I said before, he says deliverers will come from Bethlehem, not a deliverer, deliverers. Okay.
Shalom. In verse 14 of chapter 5, it says, "And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so will destroy thy cities, those which are the ones that
You
the
low,
pagan worship,
you low.
but the pagan, sorry, he was talking about the pagan worshipers that he's gonna destroy.
Yeah, the groves is what we
14.
Yeah, the groves is what he talked about before. They made groves. They would wherever they would meet up. If they see they come into come across a wicked spirit or come into contact with a fallen angel or whatever, they would venerate that place. Like we saw where Abraham met the three angels by a tree. So they sit down by the tree and they did eat. Well, the fallen angels doing that too, and the wicked spirits. So they would venerate that place. They make a grove out of it, and worshiping that particular area where they came in contact with that being. And that's what he's talking about. So when he come back, he's gonna pluck all that up, do away with, destroy those groves.
Yes, sir. So wherever there's idol worshiping and paganism going, that's where it's going to happen. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, that build places that is doing things like that. He's just going to destroy those areas.
Right? Like the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, all of them is they just like groves. Because there's a
Yes,
place where they go and they worshiping idols. They ain't worshiping the Lord of hosts. There's a place where they venerating their God. Okay.
yes, sir. And then they have everyone fooled in the New Testament when it says he's coming for his bride and the clean,
Right.
uh, um, you know, the the church that is small with clean or something like that, um, white as pure as pure as snow or something. I can remember saying that he's coming back for his bride, the church,
Right.
and that's people thinking that because they go to these buildings and stand there and worship the idol, which you can see JC in a form of statue or the cross is up there. That's the places that's going to be destroyed, you say, right?
Yeah, exactly. Ain't that
Thank you.
something? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? Okay. Yeah, it says, who are the 7 shepherds and 8 principal men from Micah 5:5. From my understanding, that's if you go to in 2 places you can go to Zechariah. Let me look at it. Go to Zechariah chapter 4, and then you'll see. Let me please that. Okay. Zechariah. Amen. Yeah, Zechariah chapter 4. So it says in verse 10, for who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hands of Zerubbabel with those 7. We know that's the 7 angels. And then you see in Ezekiel chapter 9. Ezekiel chapter 9 says it's a vision of slaughter of the guilty. And so verse 9 and 1, he cried also in mine ear with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his strong weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man with a slaughter weapon in his hand, and 1 man among them was clothed with linen. So 6 and 1 is 7. And these are angels, those 7 angels that Enoch tell us about in Genesis, in the beginning of creation, when he formed those 7 angels, 7 holy ones. So that's who I believe that is. Okay. Anybody else? Everybody good? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna say shalom. I see everybody. We got Clubhouse tomorrow at 1:00, I think it is. So if you want to check that out, you can. If you don't, we'll see you on Tuesday for our advanced Bible study night at 7:00 Central Time. Okay. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, everyone.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, shalom.
All right.